first let's discuss about what is exactly the cryptography, okay, and then the uses, then the different types of those cryptography as well, like what is the use and how we can define those different mechanisms and manner to perform those some random tasks right now. So what cryptography exactly we can say again, right, when you're talking about those data sharing and all those things. So data sharing is like a concept, right, where we are sharing those content in the plain text. They might be use the different we can say those layers, right, to transmit the data in the same format or in the same way. What we need there, we need to specify some we can say the some more actions means we can say those kind of authentications, kind of authorizations and other uh, stages and all, right. So behalf of the same thing, what we can do, we can specify and then we can perform some random task, right. So we can say again, it's like about the cryptography, right. So we can say it's like a technique, right, to secure informations and communications through use of some codes, we can say that, right, so that only that persons or that user, right, that we wanted to share those informations, right, or they can access those things, right. So we can say again, to prevent those unauthorized access the information that what we share, right, no one can access those things, like except of my user that we share over those machines, so no one can access those things, right. So similarly, we can say this like a technique, right, which are used to protect informations, right, and it encode or encrypt the content in some kind of mathematical operator, we can say the mathematical concept. In the case of some kind of algorithm and all those things, we can use a multiple algorithm, we'll discuss that, right, to encrypt the data, right. So these algorithms are used for the cryptography, right, that used for the key generation, the digital signatures, verifications, product data, many more things actually we can say, right. When you talk about those transmission data from those one place to another place, right, so they need some kind of encryptions mechanism, right. What they recommend, all the data should be stored in which format, in the encryptions format, right. So except of those things, no one can access or no one can even though try to fetch or to verify those authentications and then those informations, right. So this is a process we can use in that way, right. Or what we can do that, we wanted to share the data from one places to another places, so we need I mean to secure communications, what we need, that we needed that type kind of secure communications to perform those tasks to those particular servers, right. So we can simple say it's a technique, I just mentioned those points. So it's a technique to secure informations and communications, right, through of algorithm or command codes, we can say through codes or algorithm correct. Now, so again, so when we're talking about the types of those particular cryptography, right, so types when talking about the cryptography, correct. So how many types are there when talking about the cryptography? Especially we have like especially we have like two, but yeah, mostly we are saying that we have three types of cryptography, right, but the officials currently talking about the two types of cryptography, right. The first we have like symmetric, right. So the first we have like symmetric cryptography, and the second we have like asymmetric, right. What we can say, we have like a symmetric and asymmetric. Now, so when we're talking about the symmetric, so there is our differences, right. So small difference between the symmetric and asymmetric, right. So in the symmetric, what we have that, right, we have an encryption code and we can say keys, right. So we can say it is an encryption system, right, where the sender and receiver of like when we are trying to share some message, so we can simple say where the sender and receiver of the message use the same or common key to encrypt and decrypt the messages, right? So again we can say in the symmetric key, let's suppose we encrypt the data in any algorithm, right? So in that algorithm what we can do, we can simply specify those things, we can say those parameter or then those systems, right? And with help of those parameter or system, what we can do, we can simply specify those things, right? So again in the case of symmetric mechanisms, right, the sender and receiver both use the same key to encrypt and decrypt the message, right? So we can simple say, right, um, single point I mentioned, sender and receiver both use same keys to encrypt and decrypt, so encrypt and decrypt messages, correct? Now, so in the asymmetric, what we have, that we have a public and private key fingerprint keys mechanism, right? So in that case, what we can say, key when we're talking about these systems, right? So a pair of key used to encrypt and decrypt the information, right? So a receiver public key, when we're talking about the receiver, so a receiver public key is used for encryptions, right? And receiver private key used to decrypt those things, right? So we can say combination of public and private key, and these are different, right? So even the public key, we can say public key, like we can say we have like multiple users, right? And I wanted to specify that anyone can access those data and then those information, so we can provide those key to all the users, right? And with the help of that key, the users, right, they can check, they can decode or they can decrypt the data, right? In the same point of view, if we have like in the symmetric way, right, they, both, we can say the sender and receiver both, they use the same data. In the asymmetric, we have a pair of two keys to encrypt and decrypt, right? Public and private, right? The receiver public key is used for encryptions, right? And receiver private key used for the description, not description, it's a decryptions, right? So again public and private, correct? So except of these things, we can say again key, we have uh, two keys mechanism, we can say, right? Or we can say we have pair of keys. In the second form, we can say, right, pair of key used to encrypt and decrypt, data, correct? Or we can say message. And here I can mention that, right, receivers public key is used to encrypt the data, used to encrypt, right? Encryptions, we can say those encryptions, right? And similarly receiver private key used for the decryptions, and receiver private key used for decryptions, correct? So again what we have, that we have a combination of two things, we can say we have encryptions and then we have a decryptions, correct? Now, so these are a point, right? And with the help of these point, what we can do, we can simply perform and specify those authentications and then those authorization. So except of these particular symmetric and asymmetric key, we have like third as well, that not going to be specially used, but we have like hash functions, right? But again when we're talking about those types, we have like two types, right? So again there is no uses of any keys in these particular hash functions, right? A hash value with the fixed length is calculated as per the plain text, which make it impossible, we can say, for content of plain text to be recovered, right? But again when you're talking about the cryptography mechanism, so we have like two way, symmetric and asymmetric, right? So in the case of symmetric, both the systems or both the users, we can say, use the same key for encrypt and decrypt the message. In the case of asymmetric, what we have, that we have pair of encryptions and decryptions, right? So in that case receiver use the key to encrypt, and then the private key for the decryptions, right? So if I just show you those authentications, if you notice now what we have that in the cryptography. So as an ethical hacker or as a tester, right, you should suggest to your client proper encrypt a technique to protect the data, right, both in the storage and during the transmissions, right? So what we have exactly simple, we have like a different way to encrypt, to decrypt the files, folder, plain text data, and many more things, right? Now we have like two types, we can say we have like symmetric and asymmetric. If you notice now, in the symmetric, right, use the same key for encryptions, right, and also for the decryptions, correct? So we can use the same symmetric. And in the case of asymmetric, what we have exactly when we're talking about those, right, so we have like two different keys, we can say those encryption keys for the sorry, use different encryption key for encryption and decryption, right? So these key known as the public and private keys, correct? Guys clear with that? Yes, no? Now so jumping on the next point, right, like how we can encrypt, how we can, so in the exam we have like questions from this particular topic, we have 2-3 questions from this particular topic. Now so what exactly we have when we're talking about those encryptions. So for the first command, the first mechanism that we are going to use that, right, what we are going to use that, so we are going to use this particular calculate one-way hashes using the hash calc, right? The simple, let's suppose that if you have any plain text file, right, what I need, that I need to calculate those we can say those file in that algorithm. We can say we have like algorithm, maybe the MD5, SHA1, SHA4, SHA512, or 256, right? So like we have like different algorithm, and with the help of that algorithm, what we need, that we wanted to specify and we wanted to provide those authentications for the same, right? So what I'm going to do, that with the help of this parameter or with the help of this particular tools, right, we have some kind of file, and with the help of that file we are going to simple check the encryption. We are not going to convert those things for now, but again if you need, then we can also modify for the same, right? So what you can do, that you can simple download from those shows for or somewhere else. By default the package is there, so what you can do, that you can simple so in my case this package is by default installed. What I'm going to do, that, right, let's suppose we have a file something, okay, and what I'm going to do, that I'm going to simple calculate their hash, right? What I'm going to do, that I'm going to simple calculate their hash. Okay, so let's suppose we have a file, okay, abc dot something text, right, and inside this file let's suppose I'm going to write like this is any message, we can say this is abc file, correct? Save this file for now, okay, close this. Now so launch that hash calc for, in my case by default this package is there. What I'm going to do, that I'm going to simple launch this applications, okay. Now so if you notice now in which algorithm wanted to calculate your hash, right? So if you notice now what we have, that we have like MD5, SHA1 and something, right? So do one thing simple, you have two options, either you just simple browse or just configure your, call your file here, we can say that, or what I can do, that I can simply use the text string, right, and just simple type of message like we have abc, and just simple click on those calculate, it will show those calculation in that algorithm, right? If you see, right, we have like MD5, it's abc, my data is a plain text, right, and that are mentioned in this way, we can say MD5 and all those things. But again we have a file, right, in my case we have a file. So what I'm going to do, that I'm going to simply browse this file from my desktop, I guess. So over the desktop we have a file that we have abc.txt, correct? Now that's all, click on this particular calculate section. If you notice now the file are going to encrypt in this mechanism, right? Even though again if I wanted to open the file again, wanted to encrypt, the data remains same actually, right? Because we are using the same kind of algorithm. If you now notice now, see, right? Even these are algorithm, right? And again, if you just browse the same file, right? If you notice now in the MD5, we have this algorithm, right? MD5 something like 69241, right? So again, just simple browse it, and when we are authenticate again, right? See, we have the same data, right? But if you add something, let's suppose, okay, so let's suppose we have this file, okay, just go inside that, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply give a one space, even though, because it's like it's now changed, give a space, now saved for the testing purpose. I'm mentioning this point, right? And now when you calculate this file, see, right, when we are talking about the calculator now, this time algorithm are going to change. Why? Because we have some changed in my file, right? So what MD5 or what they algorithm are mentioning those things, if we have a like the same content every time when you're going to calculate those things, process remains same, right? If anything are changed, maybe the dot, maybe the hash, or anything will add or remove, right? The system are going to change those algorithm. Guys, clear with that? Right, again wanted to check those, fix those parameter. So just remove this, save this file, and now just simple calculate it, and if you see now that we are going to cover, correct. So what I can mention that, right, the process for this particular parameter are remain same, right? Wanted to change your algorithm, you can change it, right? Wanted to modify, wanted to set, wanted to do another point and the service, then you can perform accordingly. Clear, guys? Clear with that? Yes, no? So this simple for the calculations, right? Similarly, we have another tool, we can say hash my file, or we can say MD5 calculator, right? So another tool what we have that wanted to calculate in other way or another mechanisms, what we have that, then the same we have a like different tool, we can say that one MD5 calculator. So especially this tool are going to calculate your hash in which algorithm, message digest version 5. Like we have like different algorithm, we can say MD5, SHA1, SHA4, MD5, SHA256 and 512 DSE. Multiple algorithm we have that, right? So in which algorithm we want to encrypt those things, you can simple call from this particular MD5 calculator, right? So how we can do the same thing? So let's suppose what we have that, okay, the package installed and we have the same file, right? This abc.txt. So what I'm going to do that, simple, I'm going to launch those MD5 calculator here, okay, just simple install this, and here we have package. Now we have option, simple, either you can create you can attach entire the folder, or we have a file. So let's suppose I'm going to attach the file, and which algorithm, the simple add a file, and in my the file are in the desktop and the file, right? If you notice now, right, we just, okay, so the font is little bit small. Okay, so if you notice now what exactly we have that, this is my systems and all those things, and we just upload that. Now simply click on the calculate. If you notice now, right, the content are going to include in which algorithm. If you notice now, the same algorithm that we have previous one, right, that is 69214, something like that, right? So this is my algorithm, right? Again, if you change anything, let's suppose what I'm going to do then for the testing purpose actually, let's suppose we change something in my file, even though we just mention a space and dot. Okay, so just simply read this file, and here I'm going to simply mention and give something space, control S for the same file, right? And now if I just simple recalculate those files, this time algorithm are changed, see, right? Something like something we are getting some E094, right? So wanted to compare those algorithms, let's suppose we have algorithm 1 and 2, wanted to compare those things, even though what I can do there, let's suppose copy, and you have the same, so both are same. Notice now what they are saying, both are the equal, but again let's suppose we have this algorithm, right, and now we change something, right? Save now, and then just recalculate that, we are getting the old one, I mean the new one. But again we're not going to calculate those things, right? So we have this different. Here we have error means they are getting a warning like these are incorrect to different algorithm. You can also check that thing these are different or the same, either depend on that you wanted to have a different or same, then you can provide accordingly as well, right? The process and all those are remain same. With help of this process and all we can simple specify and then those verify those algorithm. Clear with that, guys? Yes, no, for now especially. Clear? I just confirm me, yes, no. Either you guys have any doubt and all, so let me know. You can also remove that, yeah. So you can also remove these content from this entire system, and you have like bunches of the content. Then you can also add a multiple content from this file. So you have also options, right? Wanted to encrypt those things. Let's suppose we have some data. Let me check that we have some data or not. Just a second. So let's suppose okay, so let's suppose we have some sample, right? We have some text file and all those things. So in the same case, what I'm going to do then, right? We have a folder. So what you can do that you can simple add a folder. In my case, my folder or something here, right? In this we have cryptography, and in that we have okay, so we just simple attach, right? And then we have a like sample file, right? Select it. If you notice now we have all those files, right? We have some data and all those things. So simple click on this particular calculate, and if you notice now what we have exactly, we have like a calculate, right? So we have this data. So we have some data, we can say something like we can say those contain, we can say the confidential data. Then we have some kind of driving license jpg, then we have some insurance detail, something like that. Then we have some kind of medical record. So all are going to encrypt in which algorithm? MD5, and they have some different data, right? So we can say you can convert your images, you can specify or convert means we can check those algorithm of your text file too as well. So depend like how want you to specify, you can specify in that way, correct? So this is a point, and all with the help of these we can specify.